Oh, hi, I'm Jen, and welcome to my studio. And today I want to talk about levels. So, levels are basically how tap teachers, tap schools, dance studios classify the difficulty of a class. At the studio that I own, it's mostly for kids. We have a great adult program though, not gonna lie. But it's mostly for kids, so everything's kind of numbered. There's ballet 1, ballet 2, ballet 3, ballet 4. For tap, there's tap 1, tap 2, tap 3, tap 4. And this is a system that's always been there. I don't know if that's a system I would have put in place from the beginning, but I did take the studio over from someone and we kind of just left it in place. It sort of works though, because you've got 1, which is very obviously gonna be for beginners, some that have never tapped before and others that are still really getting those basic movements down, especially if they're young. 2 is all right, you got those basic movements down, let's see what we can build on that. 3 is, okay, you've got the basic and the intermediate movements down, let's build on those and let's see what kind of advanced moves we can start to introduce to your vocabulary. And then in 4, basically for me, 4 has been all right, these are the advanced kids, let's push them as far as I can go. Let's give them really, really fun, intricate choreography, very complex rhythms. I don't focus on tricks so much, honestly. It's more complex rhythm that I'm really big into, and these kids can move. These kids can just fly, and it's so cool. But those numbers being the system is actually really convenient because it allows the teacher to not set a specific expectation of a level for that class. So last year, my tap 4 class was as advanced as you can imagine. There was nothing I could give them that they were oh my God, that's too hard, I can't do it. And I would just push and push and push. And they kept rising to the occasion. So they were as advanced as possible. This year, my tap 4 class is a little bit more of a mixture. I've got 2 students that just came up from tap 3, and then, so they're new to tap 4, and then the other one came from a different studio. So her version of advanced is not the same as my studios because all studios are created differently. So now I have a different group that is in this tap 4 class. And because it's called tap 4 and not advanced tap, I can kind of mold the class to whatever level they are and kind of go accordingly as the student population of each class changes. I guess I just kind of like the number system. But that leads me to the point of this video. It doesn't matter if it was a number system or called beginner, intermediate, and advanced, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but no matter where you go in the world, those words, especially intermediate, don't mean anything. And they mean something, but it's so subjective that you'll go take what you think is an intermediate class and it is the most advanced class you've ever taken. Or you'll take a class that says it's for advanced beginners and you have no idea why something would be that fast in a class that you thought was going to be much slower. And then vice versa. I've taken an advanced class and went, okay, that was definitely more intermediate than advanced. That was fun, but I wasn't challenged in that class. And so the reason for this discrepancy is because every teacher is different, every teacher's style is different, and every teacher's experience with the dancers in their community is different. So we'll get into style later, actually, because that's a big thing for me. But I remember seeing recently a post, all of these tap creators, I just consider you guys my friends. So if you come across this video, just letting you know, I'm gonna call you my friends because we all are in the same creator community, and I believe in friendship within a community. So I just literally when I talk about your videos and I tell my students, oh, check out this video, I say, by my friend Nicole, or by my friend Hillary, or by my friend Shelby. I don't think I've met one of the 3 of you. I don't even know if the other 2 of you that I have met even remember meeting me. It was over a decade ago. But I consider you my friend. I'm just letting you know right now. So anyway, my friend Nicole, she's the big tapper on TikTok, Nicole Taps. Amazing videos, amazing choreographer. I absolutely look up to her. She posted a video of a dance and said, what level would you call this? I think it's advanced beginner. And the comment section, it's not the video that I'm pointing out, it is the comment section of that video that sparked this entire vlog today. Because that comment section was filled with all kinds of differing opinions. You have this side who's like, that is definitely not advanced beginner. That is advanced, that is too hard. Why would you ever call that advanced beginner? I would be intimidated in that class. And then you've got this side who's like, I don't know, like that's pretty beginner. You might want to up the difficulty a little bit so people feel challenged in class. What a difference. What a dichotomy of opinions just coming off of one video. Personally, my opinion, I would have called that combination intermediate. Advanced beginner could work though, depending on where that is. I think that was being taught at BDC, Broadway Dance Center in New York. Yeah, at Broadway Dance Center, actually, I would consider that an advanced beginner combination. I certainly would not consider it an advanced beginner combination in Jacksonville, Florida, because that's not how, there's way less experience in tap here. What you're dealing with in New York City, you've got professional tap dancers that take these classes. You've got theater majors, or not theater majors, but like actual theater performers on Broadway that take these classes, off Broadway that take these classes. You've got college students, you've got people that travel from around the world to come take class there. And so you have this extra overload of experienced dancers in that area. We don't have as much where I'm from. So that's the difference in like the perspective on the level. So where you're from, that dance that she did probably was heckin' advanced. But let's say you're in LA and you take really, really difficult intermediate classes all the time, because again, a larger number of professional performers in the area means a heightened level of experience among those dancers. So it kind of gets graded on a curve, if that makes sense. So you're used to taking intermediate classes in LA that are way harder than that. You're going to look at that and go, oh yeah, that's advanced beginner for sure. Does that make sense? So it's all perspective. It is all based on your own experience versus the experience of the teacher and the community that the class is being taught in. So all that to say, while these words can be quote unquote meaningless in a sense, in that you really have to like kind of just test out each teacher to find out what beginner, advanced beginner, intermediate slash advanced, advanced and pre-pro, what all of those levels mean to that teacher is going to differ from every other teacher, for sure. So you kind of just have to like watch videos of their work, take the class and get a sense of it, you know? My advice for those traveling to New York or Chicago or any of those like big performing arts centers, level down for your first class, just to see what the leveling is like. So if I were to go up to New York and take Nicole's class, I would probably try that advanced beginner class first and go, okay, now I see the tone. Now I see like what she means by advanced beginner. All right, I'm going to try her intermediate class. Try that. And if I still feel like, all right, I'm up for a challenge, let's try this advanced class. This is going to be tough, but let's do it. And then I would do that. I would do that with any teacher that you've never taken from before, especially if it's in one of those like at a tap festival or in one of those like major art centers. You know, I should be going to the Tampa Bay Tap Festival again this year. And what I did the last time I was able to go and take class was, these are two teachers I've taken from before that were teaching throughout the day for the most part. It was Derek Grant. No, it wasn't Derek Grant. Yes, it was Derek Grant. It was Derek Grant and Aaron Tolson. And I decided to take one of each of their levels. They were teaching advanced and then they were teaching intermediate. And I said, all right, I'm going to do advanced with Aaron and then intermediate with Derek and then advanced with Derek and then intermediate with Aaron. So I got a sense of what those levels meant to both of those people. And I got so much out of both classes because learning at two different paces was so valuable to me. I got so much in these classes and it was just beautiful and wonderful and I loved it. So that's a piece of advice that I have. If you're just really, really not sure what somebody means by advanced or intermediate or beginner, level down, test it out, or take both. If you have the ability and opportunity, take both. I also want to talk about style while I'm at it. And please comment below if you have experience with like going to a class that you thought was one level and then you get blindsided and find out that's not what they meant by that word. I know sometimes people take my intermediate tutorials, or I think the biggest thing on this channel is people take my advanced tutorials and the biggest comment is these are not that advanced. These are not hard enough. And I think a big reason for that is that I know I'm trying to teach this not in person. I'm making a tutorial of it, and I kind of scale back a little bit on the difficulty because learning in a virtual format is just a little bit more difficult. And also I got a lot of comments on some of my most advanced stuff like, whoa, this is really, really hard. So if you guys want more of like truly advanced stuff on this channel, let me know and I will bring the heat. I will absolutely do it. Please let me know. But yeah, if you have experiences with like going to a class and it just wasn't the level that you thought it was going to be, write those experiences in the comments. I really want to know. I want to know that like, A, I'm not alone because that's absolutely happened to me. But I also want to know like, it's not just the comment section of that one video where this like difference is happening. So yeah, style. I want to talk about style for a second. Style changes everything. So I remember, I'm going to call her out by first name and not last name, but I remember I was teaching at the Pensacola State Summer Dance Workshop or something, and there's a dancer that's been there for years, and I used to assist the teacher that taught there, and then I eventually became the tap teacher that taught there, and I miss it. I miss that workshop. It was amazing. It was so much fun, and thank you to all the people at the Pensacola State College that brought me in to do that. I'm so grateful. It was wonderful. There was a dancer, her name's Maria, and what a phenomenal tap dancer. Like, blows my mind how good she is. I've seen her do solo work. I've seen like videos of her, and just all the time in class, she would just eat up the floor. So good. And that was when I was assisting the original teacher. Then I got there as the teacher, and I said, all right, so I know what I'm working with. Most of you guys I've had before when I was an assistant. How hard do y'all want me to go? And they were like, I mean, yeah, pretty hard. I know some in the back were like, not that hard, please. And so I was like, all right, let's do something that I would consider advanced, but like not over the top advanced. And I taught them my dance to Shape of You, which I do have a tutorial of on this channel. Shape of You I consider advanced. Not like unreachable advanced, but advanced. This girl, phenomenal tap dancer. When I started teaching the combo, she struggled a little bit. Just a little bit, but you could see that there was like a struggle. And it wasn't because the steps were hard. It's because my style was so different than what she was used to. So there had to be like a moment where she had to kind of acclimate to my style and go, okay, that's how we're doing things today. And then after that, she thrived. After taking a little bit to go, this style is so different. Then she went, all right, I got this now, and totally killed the combination. But you could see that moment where suddenly something that may not have been that hard was really hard for her just because there was a style difference. A good example of this is like when you take class from, I'm going to name some tap dancers, and if you don't know who they are, please look them up. They're wonderful, wonderful people. It's like taking class from Karen Calloway Williams versus taking class from Jason Janis. These are two tap dancers that I feel have very different styles, extremely different styles. And you will, maybe some people gravitate toward one and not the other, simply because the style is similar to what they're used to. But don't be afraid of that learning curve. Don't be afraid to go to the teacher that like has just a completely different style than you're used to, than you're comfortable with. Struggle for a minute and then go, okay, now I understand your style. Now I understand like how we're doing things. And now what I thought was super advanced is now the level you said it was, intermediate, right? That can happen. That can happen simply because of a difference of style. I know people struggle in my teacher's class. My teacher was Anthony Locascio. If you've ever taken his class, please let me know in the comments. One of my greatest friends of my entire life. His style is different. Very, very different. It's some kind of hybrid between like New York style tap and Australian style tap, because like he was a tap dog for 20 years or so. So there's this heavy Australian influence, even if he doesn't know it. And I'm sure he does, but when you go to his class, it's a completely different style than it would be if you took from, say, Derek Grant. Incredibly different styles. Still could call each class advanced, but you might find one a little bit easier than the other simply because it's closer to what you're used to. So style plays a huge role in that. Huge. I know I have a very unique style of choreography. If you've ever looked at like my actual dances, not just like the mini tutorials and tutorials that I do, I have a pretty unique style. And I do like my style, but when people come to my class, they're like, whoa, this is different. I thought I was advanced. I'm like, no, you are. Give yourself time to get used to the way that I choreograph and the way that you're gonna move, and then you'll feel fine. And it always happens, always. So yeah, I don't know if I went off on a tangent, to be honest, but style plays a huge role in what those words mean. So whenever you're looking at those words, if you're looking even at my tutorials and it says intermediate advanced, like, do you really know what that means? Like, even, do you know what to expect even if you've been here for a while? Because it varies, intermediate/advanced. Is it on the intermediate side of that, or is it on the advanced side of that? Does it just have options? Is that why there's a slash in there? You don't know until you try it. So the best way of dealing with that is level down first, get used to it if it's a new teacher, and just try it. Try it out, because if you take a class and maybe it's a little too hard for you, you still at least got something out of that class. You learned something, even if at some point you just go, this is way too hard for me. You sit, you watch, absorb, and you still get something out of that class. So give it a try, and don't be intimidated if what somebody else calls beginner is something that you would call advanced. Understand that that is it's just a word that person's experience made sense to use, versus my experience, that word would not make sense to use. What I consider advanced beginner is like some of the beginner/intermediate combinations on this channel, I would consider advanced beginner. What Nicole did in that video, where I am, would not call that advanced beginner at all. But at the same time, I've taken class in New York. I completely recognize in New York and Pennsylvania and New Jersey and that whole area, yeah, that actually tracks. Advanced beginner makes sense for that. It's regional, it's subjective, it's just a way to tell somebody how hard this class might be, but you still should probably like look up their work, look up if they have any tutorials, see what kind of levels they have. I mean, thank goodness we're in the age of YouTube tutorials, right? Or like TikTok and stuff, so you can kind of see people's work before you take their class. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful to you. I talk about this all the time. I have students that go off and go to like New York and LA to take class, and they're like, what should I do? And I give them this advice and I say, don't be intimidated by the word advanced. Don't be intimidated by the word advanced beginner. Don't feel like a beginner class is going to be the easiest thing you've ever taken. Be prepared for it to not be. And don't feel like you should just jump into all the advanced classes right away without knowing who's teaching them and what advanced means. And they usually come back going, dang, you were right. Some of those teachers, their advanced classes, woo! And like some of those teachers, their beginner classes were really hard. And they said stylistic differences and all of those things contributed to that. So don't be intimidated by the level word, and don't let it drive you away. Do some research. Again, I hope that this was valuable to you, and I just love what my assistant says is yapping. I love yapping about tap dance. But anyway, hopefully the next class you take, you can use some of what I've said today to kind of like figure out what level you want to take. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button and join the TAP fam. We have vlogs like this. We have choreography tutorials, technique exercises, step tutorials, I keep hearing weird noises and it's distracting me. I'm so sorry. Step tutorials, vlogs, challenges, all kinds of stuff on this channel. It's all free tap dance content and it's all for you. So make sure that you subscribe. Also, while you're at it, hit that thumbs up button because this was useful information and a good discussion. And don't forget to comment with your experiences down below. But hitting that thumbs up helps all tap dance channels, all tap dance content, because it tells the algorithm that people like this, that people like tap dance. So smash that thumbs up for me. And yeah, let me know about your upcoming class experiences if you're going up to BDC, if you've ever taken Nicole's class, Hillary's class, Shelby's class, United Taps. Let me know what you felt about how they leveled their classes. I'm so interested to know, and hopefully all of these people that I may or may not have met in real life are cool with me considering them a friend, because I do, because we're all tap dancers, which means we're all fam. So, all right, well, I had a blast talking to you all today, and as always, thank you for dancing with me.